Hello everyone, and welcome here to this game of StarCraft that was found on reddit.com/r/castit. And we will see spawning here in the lower left-hand position of Derelict Watcher. It is going to be the Protoss player Invencible. And his opponent spawning in the upper right as our blue Terran player, it will be Mick. I am Thaco, and I'm joined here today by Snow. How are you doing over there, Snow?
Hello, hello. Doing very good. Just looking forward to another game of StarCraft.
Always. It's going to be an interesting one to watch how the PvT matchup unfolds here on Derelict Watcher. Not really a favorable map to either the Protoss or the Terran player.
Yeah, honestly, it's not a huge advantage to either one, I would say. Both players can take advantage of the map.
It's a very Zerg-friendly map, right? Like, we have to just think about those wide open spaces.
There's so many open spaces for surrounds, but that is not an issue here.
Especially not with this probe already out across the map.
Yeah, that is a quick scout.
I mean, Gateway's gone down back home, so we're not watching proxy gateways come down across the map. Just really going for the harass there on that barracks. That SCV's gonna die.
He's gonna get an SCV out of it. It's definitely a win.
That's pretty costly there for Mick. I do not envy that situation.
Additionally, he finds out there's no proxy shenanigans on the way for him either.
There's still potential, especially considering that Invincible didn't look at any of the gas timings. There's still some proxy factory starport plays that can happen from here.
It's true, but for the most part, he's still got this probe wandering around up here too. I feel like he's probably pretty safe.
That's true. He hasn't really looked at any of the big proxy locations yet, though.
It's true. It's true.
But back to what I was going to say about why this is such a bigger Zerg-friendly map is this third base is pretty hard to take unless you're Zerg. It's pretty out there. There's a second ramp you have to defend, and the Protoss player can abuse the low ground and ramps with force fields.
Yeah, that is true. And both. It's just and then you get to the fourth too. That's pretty hard to defend as well.
That's almost impossible.
Yeah,
that spreads you way too far across the map.
Tend to see basically only 3 base matchups on these maps.
And I mean, Protoss can strive on that. There are quite a few good 2-base Protoss builds.
Exactly.
Don't tell me this Reaper's going to die to the Zealot. Okay, no, neither person wants to engage that.
But here we see this Reaper, though, is going to be great scouting information here. Seeing the timings on what's coming up here. Sees no second base down, just going to be good information.
He's going to get the Zealot kill, isn't he?
Yeah, that's worth it.
Oh, Stalker was a second too late for that save. Okay, he sees the second Nexus timing, which is, moving along on a good schedule.
Although his own command center is almost finished, which is going to be a nice lead for him.
It's not too surprising, though, the timing of the Terran player getting a base slightly before the Protoss player.
Nope, but still, very nice.
And he kept the Reaper alive through all that, which is really the more important aspect.
Yep, it's going to keep providing good information as the game goes on here.
Except that Stalker is now positioned there up at the top of the ramp. It's going to be very hard for the Reaper to fully get in.
Yeah, it'll probably be a bit of a suicide, but still, information's information.
It's true. There's not a whole lot new for him to find out yet, though.
True.
Neither player really looking for early aggression, except for this probe hidden up here in the south side of Mick's Natural, just ready to toss down a pylon and run some Zealots through.
Is it actually hidden, though? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Wow, just out of view.
Hey, he can get to the pylon down over there, too. That could be pretty frustrating.
Pretty interesting. Maybe we'll see a DT warp in there or something. Even just a Zealot round would be annoying.
Okay, Mick's vision has seen it. I'm not sure if Mick has seen it. Okay, there he goes.
There it is. As soon as I started mining it, should have seen him. Okay.
Yeah, there's Envision constantly enough that it'd only be a matter of time. Ooh, and the Reaper's gonna get up into the base.
Probably didn't see much there.
Choosing to go for the ramp instead of the cliff jump cost him his life there.
Yeah, it was an odd decision given that a little bit of a quicker path there.
See, you know, a pretty early double forge timing there out of Invincible. Really placing an emphasis on those upgrades. And just using the robo for those observers, wants to know what's going on all over the map. No, neither player being aggressive here. Both of them just perfectly willing to sit back and tank up.
Although we do see a pylon in the lower right over here. I think that's been there for a while.
This is that initial scouting probe put this down.
Yep. So we might be able to see some more pins off of that. But yeah, we see a hallucinated phoenix coming across the map too here, which will be, again, for scouting information. Invincible really likes his information.
I mean, he's doing a good job with it, and you know, information wins the war.
It's true. It's true.
Sees the siege tanks. I believe he sees that third command center coming down there, and he's gonna know everything.
Looks like our Terran players going mech at the moment. We see Hellions and siege tanks.
And adding on the armory with no engineering bay too.
Yeah.
Always a good tell.
The mech versus Protoss is interesting because a lot of times Protoss Robo Bay can do quite a good job at taking care of a lot of the Terran mech.
It really depends on the read that the Protoss player gets and whether or not they go for those Immortals. And, yeah. Well, Invincible's got Immortals in production.
Yeah, and the other thing is, even if you get a lot of Colossus, they do outrange siege tanks, I believe, correct?
I think so. And even if they don't, you can spread your Colossi enough that siege tanks aren't going to be effective with the splash damage.
Yeah, exactly. At any rate, it's a reasonably effective counter to them.
Although Invincible here might be going for that theory that the best way to counter mech is to get there really early. He's being a little mobile on the map here.
That's true, although we do see, he might scout this medevac down south here. Nope.
He doesn't see it. But his army's close to home.
And there's already 3 stalkers in the base, which is going to be really good.
But those stalkers don't have the cleanest path to the Hellions. It's going to be hard to get them in there. The cannon's all he has to defend. And it's doing a decent job. Focusing the cannon instead of the workers, I think, was a bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, well, he did get 8 of them, though, in that drop. So, nice. That's pretty good. 9 for 4 Hellions. I would have let. Yeah, no, I'm perfectly all right with that. Yeah, that's a pretty good trade.
Like, you know, it would have been an amazing trade if he had gotten out with all the Hellions, but you know, he knew the risk. And
yep, that's a decent trade. Although we see Invincible's army here actually starting to look pretty bulky with. Although no more Immortals on the way, so maybe he hasn't gotten a good scout off yet. Although he's got an observer sitting right over the army, so.
Yeah. Does he see... with that many Hellbats, you should be able to guess.
Yeah, he should know right now what's up. But there we go. We've had Immortal production start up again, which I believe is the correct choice here. A lot of Immortals will crush right through this.
That hardened shield will just absorb the tank shots. I want to go back and say that most likely the reason we saw the pause in Immortal production was the saving up making minerals to establish this third nexus.
Yes.
That would be the most sensible reason why he slowed down on that. I would like to see another robotics facility. And there it is, actually. He's all over that.
We also see level 2 upgrades coming in from the Protoss, which is really good. Level 1 weapons, level 2 armor, to be more specific.
It's going to help him survive some of those tank shells.
Especially seeing as how it does not look like our Terran.
Oh, the Zealot warping into third from the pylon that's still hidden down there. Got a couple kills. I'm just going to get cleaned up quickly by the Hellbats.
3 workers, though, not bad.
It's just exciting. There is a Dark Shrine on the way.
Interesting choice, given that he's looking to be in a pretty good shape right now.
Well, no. It's one of these things where what comes in is it's normally your Protoss player for the longest period of time has been a much slower, build up a large army and have to keep it clumped up.
Yeah.
But when your opponent is a meching Terran or, you know, a swarm hosting Zerg, it shifts over to the Protoss to be responsible to be mobile. They have to move around the edge of the map and pick their opponent apart. And there's nothing better in the Protoss arsenal than the DT for that.
True, it will help his counterattack potential significantly. However, we are seeing some turrets drop down from the Terran here, which, you know, could serve to shut that down.
I mean, the turrets will help him keep his units, you know, make those DTs visible.
Well, it depends if he keeps going here. He seems mostly concerned around the edge of his base, so it might be just...
it's going to stop the warp prism coming in.
Warp prism prevention is more his goal here.
But DTs could actually just walk in the front door here.
Yep.
And I mean, even if you can't get into a mineral line, sniping add-ons is huge.
Indeed, indeed.
And there are 3 DTs coming out across the map now. Let's see if they choose to just one into the third. And the one going up towards the main got scanned and killed, as did the observer.
However, the third is going.
Workers have been pulled, and the scan should come down momentarily.
6 workers. Oh,
okay.
And you got 6 workers out of that, it looks like. So, for 3 DTs, not too bad. Yeah. Probably not worth it, but not a total loss.
It's also kind of exposed the plan.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind watching a stopping of the flood of DTs and moving over more into Archons, but you know, keeping your opponent on his toes, there's always benefit to that, especially if he's careful with the approaches he takes to make sure he doesn't get caught. What's he hitting there? Is he not hitting anything? Okay.
I think he was move commanding to try and get past the army, and the army was clogged up against the ramp there, preventing any movement. However, I believe this DT harass has kind of run its course here, and probably should move on from it, although...
Well, there's the added cost in scans, right? Like,
yes, scans and turrets, it's definitely not a loss.
And time spent not mining...
Yep.
I mean, there are things that have been lost for Terran with this, and, you know, to Invincible's credit, he stopped.
Yep, and the other big thing here is a 10 immortal push moving across the map.
Especially with the siege tanks unsieged right now.
Yes, those immortals are going to be brutal.
Yes, they are. And siege tanks trying to siege up in the back, and they're gonna start raining down, but they cannot do enough damage to these immortals. But the Hellbats are gonna take care of that, just
Mick
crushing
just
through.
A ton right now. His army supply is massive at the moment.
Well, any zealot that was in that army just melted away to the Hellbat.
However, we did have a saving of 7 immortals here, and there's 3 more sitting in the base. So he's right back up to 10 immortals again. He only lost zealots and stalkers there, which in this army comp, it's not too bad.
Sort of run by attempt up here at the 4th, but the planetary fortress cleans that up. So I mean, now it's entirely on Invincible's shoulders right now to figure out how to win this game.
Yep.
And Mick's got his winning comp.
Yep. Mick has built up his force, and once you get there as mech, when you get to 200, you've hit your goal. The only thing I'd say here is, though, that it's really Hellbat heavy at the moment. That's a lot of Hellbats, which actually might help him, though.
Well, with your opponent going this Zealot heavy, I do like the Hellbats.
True, true.
And Invincible's doing exactly what he needs to. He's setting Zealots all over the map.
Yep.
Just trying to tax his opponent. And... and the fusion core's on the way. All right, it's gonna stall what I was talking about.
The worker death count is mounting here.
That's okay. That's up to 22. Trying to clear out that missile turret for a future DT harass as well. It should get repaired here. Or not.
That might have been a simple misclick by Mick, because he's moving out right now. I think he senses weakness here, and
it might also just be, I know this is my time move right now.
Yeah,
Mick is just
he's hit maxed. Yeah. He wants to move.
And now there's that hilarious discussion that exists with mech, right? You used to wait till you had your 3/3 upgrades, and now you see a lot of more people moving out with the 2 attack. Because, no, this is the fight going to happen. The Hellbats are in there. No siege tanks are sieged right now. And the siege tank number is actually a lot lower than it used to be. I don't see this fight going well for Mick right now because these Immortals are just pushing through, destroying everything. Because there are only those units that are negated by the Hardened Shields upgrade. So Mick is just forced back right now and has lost everything. And Mech cannot afford that because Mech takes so long to remax. He's going to have mainly Hellbats in this next fight, if there is even a next fight, because Zealots have cleared out the 3rd base, and Zealots are trying to clear out the 4th base as well.
Now, Thaco, that fight was a textbook example of why the Immortal is freaking awesome against Mech. It's just so strong against those. Every unit in the Mech arsenal, it's going to do intense amount of damage, and the Zealot Warpins were a great move to keep opponents on your toes. It was just perfect.
And they've totally cleaned up the 3rd base now. He had to lift and fly out.
Yep. It's extraordinarily well executed by Invincible, and honestly not misplayed by Mick either. It's almost a build order issue with that fight. It's just not the right comp.
I mean, we discussed earlier that as long as Invincible realizes what's going on, he can get the perfect build, and he's done that. He's going to take out this 4th base almost instantly. That's through double planetaries.
Yeah, those Immortals just rip through things. And DTs, too. That's a high DPS army.
The only terrifying moment for Invincible will come in about 10 seconds when 6 battlecruisers pop.
Oh, my God. So we have, Mick's late game plan here is, wow. That's impressive.
If he can clump all of those up, well, no.
Although we have Invincible going Tempest now too.
Invincible knew it. All right, battle cruisers aren't going to mean anything, especially not with Void Rays and Tempests on the map. As long as Invincible holds till he gets most of his Tempests in one area. If he fights this, he's going to lose his Tempests and not take out enough.
I think he's trying to kite with it, which seems to be working okay.
This could just be the push to win right now.
Yep.
I mean, up by almost 100 supply. The ground army's gone. The air army's melting away. Between those Tempests and those Void Rays, the battlecruisers don't stand a chance.
Yeah, and the battlecruisers just can't put enough.
There's the GG out of Mick. It was a good attempt in all aspects by Mick.
He played with what he had correctly. He probably could have used a little bit more scouting information on what was going on, maybe make a little bit more of a solid comp against his Protoss opponent, but Invincible kind of won the information war. He knew what was up and build the counter it the whole way.
It's very true. So that brings us to the end of that game, and I hope you will all join us for more games of StarCraft in the future. Thank you. Good night.